Hi everyone, what's going on? If you've been following my YouTube channel, in the past month or so I've really talked a lot about the importance of the number 224 and how it's been showing up in all kinds of important events and a lot of different media stories. And on December 6th, 12/6, we got major sports news that Floyd Mayweather is going to be doing an exhibition fight with the YouTuber Logan Paul. And, this comes just after Logan Paul's brother Jake Paul fought at the Mike Tyson-Roy Jones Jr. fight, and he knocked out the NBA player Nate Robinson. And what's interesting about this story coming on the date of 12/6, a lot like 126, is that it's connected to Kobe Bryant. And we even had the death of a rapper on the date of 12/6 named Blue Benji Kobe, right? Blue Benji Kobe dies on the date 12/6. Remember, Kobe Bryant died on 1/26, and then we got the story on 12/6. Gianna Bryant, in the language of gematria, equals 126. Kobe's wife, Vanessa, her birthday in the year 2020 was on the 126th day of the year. And if you go clear back to 2 summers ago, I was talking about how the 2019-2020 season in the NBA would be all scripted around Kobe Bryant and his Achilles injury. And that was when Dwight Howard was on the team. And I even mentioned how Dwight Howard would possibly come back to the Lakers. And then, of course, Dwight Howard signed with the Lakers on Kobe Bryant's 41st birthday. And then Kobe later dies. Kobe later dies in a helicopter crash and so on. And the interesting thing about it was that Dwight Howard was also on the Lakers in the 2012-2013 season when Kobe Bryant tore his Achilles. And Kobe Bryant just so happened to tear his Achilles 126 days after Dwight Howard's birthday. And Dwight Howard's name in gematria, his full name equals 126, and the Lakers owner Jerry Buss also died just before Kobe Bryant tore his Achilles. He died 1 month and 26 days before Kobe Bryant tore his Achilles. And another interesting thing is that, remember, Dwight Howard only came to the Lakers because of the annulled Chris Paul trade that happened on December 8th, which was Dwight Howard's birthday. And then the next year, Dwight Howard came to the Los Angeles Lakers, and Chris Paul just so happens to be born on the 126th day of the year. And the reason that Dwight Howard came to the Lakers was because DeMarcus Cousins got injured, so the Lakers needed another big man. And in 2018, I talked about how DeMarcus Cousins was synced up to Kobe Bryant as well, because DeMarcus Amir Cousins just so happens to equal 126 in gematria. And that game, they took him out of the game with 8.1 seconds left. And he played for New Orleans, right? New Orleans equals 126 in gematria. And DeMarcus Cousins tore his Achilles on exactly 2 years before Kobe died on 1/26, right? So, I'm bringing all this up because this Floyd Mayweather, this new fight that it's going to be, it's synced up to Kobe Bryant. And I know this for a few more reasons, because in gematria, actually, you know what, before I even move on, Nate Robinson, his full name, hold on, Nate Robinson, this is how further I know that it's important to this boxing match. Look at Nate Robinson's full name in gematria here. His name just so happens to equal 126, right? Think about how he got knocked out by this guy's brother, and so on. He's an NBA player, Kobe Bryant. But Floyd Mayweather just so happens to equal 224, a number I talked about when I started this video. 224. And his birthday also just so happens to be 224. And what's even more interesting is if you go from the date of the Mike Tyson fight to the day that this new fight is going to be with Floyd Mayweather, it just so happens to be 2 months and 24 days later, 2/24. And to further connect it to Kobe Bryant, I've been talking about the importance of these Francis Bacon ciphers like crazy, right? They're important to capital letters. Look at Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant equals 224. And so does Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan equals 224. Remember Kobe's memorial after he died was on the date of 2/24? And there's an episode of a cartoon called The Legend of Chamberlain Heights where Kobe Bryant dies in a helicopter crash. And that episode aired 2 months and 24 days after Kobe Bryant's birthday. And much, much more. I've been saying how Kobe Bryant is synced up to this 224 number. And, of course, 12/6 they announced this fight. And remember back in March, Floyd Mayweather's uncle also died. And his girlfriend died, but Floyd Mayweather's uncle died on St. Patrick's Day. And think about Conor McGregor, who, I keep getting these YouTubers mixed up here, but Jake Paul, he wants to fight Conor McGregor, right? He's the guy who knocked out Nate Robinson. And now Floyd Mayweather's fighting his brother, Logan Paul, right? So it's obviously connected to Conor McGregor, but Floyd Mayweather's uncle back in March, he died on St. Patrick's Day. And think about Conor McGregor, who, is Irish and so on, right? He comes from Ireland. So what are the odds? He dies on St. Patrick's Day. And and Conor McGregor also said that his aunt died of coronavirus just a few days before that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second because it's synced up to Rocky and a bunch of stuff. But what are the odds? Floyd Mayweather's uncle was also a boxer, and his nickname in boxing was the Black Mamba. Just like Kobe Bryant, right? Is the Black Mamba. He died at the age of 58, and this is another number important to Kobe Bryant. Los Angeles Lakers equals 58 in gematria. And Kobe Bryant also equals 58 in gematria. And to keep the pattern going, look at DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins equals 58 in gematria. Look at Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard equals 58 in gematria. So, what are the odds that his uncle, who has the Black Mamba name, dies just after Kobe Bryant dies, and he dies at the age of 58. He also dies on St. Patrick's Day, synced up to Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor recently beat Donald Cerrone right before Kobe Bryant died, and when he beat him, his record in the UFC is now 22-4, a lot like 224. Another interesting thing in regards to his uncle here, his uncle just so happened to die 51 days after Kobe Bryant. And that sticks out because this new fight that's going to be on 2/20 of the year 21, 2/20 just so happens to be the 51st day of the year. And recall that Floyd Mayweather, his full name in gematria is Roy Levesta something. Maybe I wrote it in here. Whatever his full name was, it equals 233, which is the 51st prime number, and he just fought Mike Tyson 51 days before his birthday, and originally the fight was announced 51 days before it was supposed to happen in September, and Roy Jones Jr. was also 51 years old. I also pointed out that Mike Tyson currently has 50 wins, and although it was an exhibition, if he would have won, it would have been something like 51 wins. And, think about how Floyd Mayweather is currently 50-0. So if he wins this fight on the 51st day of the year, it's also something like getting his 51st win, right? Even though it's an exhibition. 51 on the 51st day of the year. In the Francis Bacon ciphers, Floyd Mayweather also equals 233, just like Roy Jones Jr.'s real name. 233, which is the 51st prime number. It's such a perfect day, and further, to connect this to Kobe Bryant, as a tribute to Kobe Bryant, look up Logan Paul. Look at Logan Paul's birthday. His birthday just so happens to be 4/1, a lot like the number 41, and once again, a number connected to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant equals 41. Remember, he died 157 days after his 41st birthday, right? His name equals 41 and 157. He dies 157 days after his 41st birthday, and he dies in a helicopter crash. that crashed after 41 minutes, right? What are the odds? The pilot's name equals 41. Kobe Bryant's final basketball game against the Utah Jazz. They took him out of the game with 4.1 seconds left. He announced his retirement with a poem called Dear Basketball equals 41. You know, countless things with Kobe Bryant. Notice it also equals 113, and Kobe Bryant also equals 113. And Michael Jordan also equals 113, and then the National Basketball Association also equals 113. And look at Logan Paul's birthday. Just so happens to be 1 month and 13 days after this fight, 220. 1 month and 13 days, also 41 days later. So his birthday's on 4/1, the fight's a span of 41 days before his birthday and a span of 1 month and 13 days before his birthday, and Kobe Bryant equals 41 and also 113. And I'm not sure where this fight's going to take place. I guess I didn't look into that, but the Mike Tyson fight took place at the Staples Center, and the Staples Center is where the Los Angeles Lakers play. A few other 126s that I didn't mention in the beginning of the video is that this fight is going to be taking place a span of 1 year and 26 days after Kobe Bryant died on the date of 1/26, right? And also, too, the Los Angeles Lakers, they played the Portland Trailblazers right afterward, right? The next game that the Lakers played after Kobe died was against the Portland Trailblazers. And I think Portland Trailblazers equal 126. Portland Trailblazers equal 126. And I think even in these Francis Bacon ciphers, let me find it here. I could be wrong, but maybe it's just Portland equals 126. Yeah, Portland equals 126. And Portland Trailblazers equal 126. And, you know, Joe Biden's going to be the next president and so on. And his full name in these ciphers, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. equals 126. And in this other ciphers here, the Francis Bacon ones, Joe Biden equals 126. So, you know. Kobe Bryant also equals 243. And if you go back to what I was talking about when they moved the Mike Tyson fight, originally it was supposed to be in September, and then they pushed it back to the weekend of Thanksgiving. And for years I have been saying how the movie Rocky is important to Thanksgiving, and it's synced up to Conor McGregor, because in the movie Rocky, he finally beats Apollo Creed on Thanksgiving Day, and the very first Rocky movie, I believe it begins on Thanksgiving Day, or somewhere around Thanksgiving, and the movie called Creed with Michael B. Jordan, that movie also came out right around Thanksgiving. And there's something important to how Rocky syncs up to Thanksgiving. And remember when Conor McGregor lost to Floyd Mayweather became 50-0, and he just so happened to beat Rocky Marciano's record of 49-0. Right? So, just pointing out that Sylvester Stallone is the guy who plays Rocky, and his name equals the same as Kobe being Bryant, 243. And Sylvester Stallone is also important to the Nice, France van attack that happened in 2016. After that van attack happened, there was a mainstream article about how Sylvester Stallone was in Nice, France at the time. And they showed a picture of him with like fireworks going off behind him, and it looked like his head was the Statue of Liberty, kind of, right? And that Nice van attack in France, it just so happened to be on Conor McGregor's birthday, which is also Bastille Day, right? 7/14, it's Bastille Day. And I really think that this is why, you know. So Conor McGregor loses to Floyd Mayweather, and he beats Rocky Marciano's record. And then after that, remember at UFC 223, or just before it, Conor McGregor had all the drama with Khabib, and Khabib is the Russian. And think about how Rocky fights the Russian, who's Dolph Lundgren in real life, and his name equals 201, just like the word tiger equals 201. And if you watch some of my previous videos, There's a major tiger theme that is going on with the year 2020, synced up to coronavirus and much, much more. That's why the show Tiger King came out, and then a tiger was supposedly the first animal to get coronavirus, and then Al Colleen, the Detroit Tiger guy, died, and a whole lot more. The Las Vegas guy that got mauled by a tiger, whatever, he died a few months later. There's all kinds of tiger stuff. Even the Detroit Tigers, again, were in the news not too long ago dealing with A.J. Hinch, and the Chicago White Sox were important to that with Tony La Russa, and so on. So it's just interesting. The Russian, his actor name, or his real name is Dolph Lundgren. That equals 201, like the word tiger. And think about Mike Tyson as well. Mike Tyson, a guy who's known for owning a bunch of tigers, right? And in the film Rocky, the theme song is Eye of the Tiger. And Rocky and Sylvester Stallone, and I think Rambo even, who Sylvester Stallone plays, they're all born on the date of 7/6. And in gematria, the word tiger equals 76. Right? Tiger equals 76. And in the Chinese Year of the Tiger in 2022, Sylvester Stallone is going to be turning 76 years old on the date of 7/6. And it's going to be the Year of the Tiger. Think about it. Eye of the Tiger, Rocky. So 2022 has been really important. So just pointing this out. Just paying attention. And this fight that's going to be on 2/20 is also interesting in connection to Russia, because Vladimir Putin, his name equals 220. And so does Donald Trump's. Vladimir Putin and the Francis Bacon ciphers, his name equals 220. And a few years back, we got that story about how he was boasting his military might, and he had a video about nuking Florida, right? And that just so happened to come out 220 days after his birthday, and that was right after Donald Trump had talked to the Mexican president 220 days after his birthday, and it was on the date of 220. And I'll show you really quick. Donald John Trump just so happens to equal 220. And this is a number important to the Jesuits, and Donald Trump went to Fordham University, which is a Jesuit university. The number 201 is important to coronavirus as well, because in October last year, before coronavirus began, there was an event called Event 201 that was held by Bill Gates and the World Economic Forum, and it was about they did a simulation of a coronavirus outbreak that killed 65 million people. And then, of course, we get coronavirus just after that, and a whole lot more. The synced up to it's Event 201, and, the current pope right now is Jorge Mario Bergoglio, whose name equals 201, and the founder of the Jesuits equals 201, Ignatius of Loyola. His name still happens to equal 201, and Pope Francis lives in the room 201 at the Vatican. It's the guest room. He's the first pope to stay in room 201. His name equals 201. It's called the Domus Sanctae Marte. That equals 201. Whole lot more. Coronavirus equals 56. Anthony Fauci equals 56, who's also went to a Jesuit school. Toilet paper equals 56. Unemployment equals 56. Event 201 was 201 days before the date of 5/6. And in regards to France and Nice, France, and so on, Paris, France equals 56. And remember the ISIS attack in Paris, France, ISIS equals 56. That happened on Friday the 13th of 2015. And just after that, Turkey was in the news because Russia shot down one of Turkey's planes just before Thanksgiving in 2015. Think about that. Turkey, Thanksgiving, Russia shot down one of their planes. Turkey is the country who first declared ISIS as a terrorist group, right? And they did it on the date 112. And the emergency dialing code everywhere else in the world pretty much is 112, right? Instead of 9/11. So perfect date to do that, but, Turkey also, right after the Nice, France van attack, there was a Turkey coup that went against the Turkey president Erdogan, or however you say the guy's name, Recep Erdogan. There was the Turkey coup against him, and that was the day after the Nice, France van attack that was on Conor McGregor's birthday. So there's something important to how this syncs up to Rocky and Russia. There was also a story a while back about how Donald Trump wanted to box Putin, right? Donald Trump wanted to box Putin. And then last year on Thanksgiving, there was a story about, let me just find it really quick. Last year on Thanksgiving, there was a story, and they had Donald Trump, and they put his head on Rocky's body. There's the thing at the Nice, France with Sylvester Stallone that looks like the Statue of Liberty, sort of. Well, let me find it here. This was when Donald Trump wanted to box Putin. There it is, right there. November 29th, 2019, right? Donald Trump as Rocky. Donald Trump also said he wanted to box Putin. Putin's a Russian. Conor McGregor, he ended up losing to Khabib, right? And then that set him up to where he could become 22-4 against Donald Cerrone. I think that fight was even on, hold on, let me see here. McGregor versus, I think that fight was even on the date of 20/1. We'll look it up really quick. Nope, the 18th. 18/1, which is interesting right away because Floyd Mayweather just so happens to equal that too. 181, right? So, interesting, but back to Conor McGregor here. So, his aunt supposedly died on Friday the 13th of coronavirus this year. Remember, that's the day they declared it, coronavirus, a national emergency in the United States too, right? 3/13, which is also the day that Pope Francis became the Pope in history, right? In the year 2013, 31313. Kind of a strange day. But I'm just bringing this up. He says his aunt died on Friday the 13th. That's the day that they declared coronavirus a national emergency. Friday the 13th is also the day believed that the Knights Templar were wiped out in France, right? So, it's interesting how this all syncs up. And, the guy who knocked out Nate Robinson, he wants to fight Conor McGregor, and now Floyd Mayweather is going to be fighting his brother, and it's all synced up to Kobe Bryant. Another thing that's interesting I forgot to mention with this fight being on 2/20, and in relation to Friday the 13th, the Pope who approved the Jesuits was Pope Paul III, and he just so happened to become the Pope on the date of 10/13, and that's the day in history that was the Friday the 13th when it is believed that the Knights Templar was actually wiped out in France on that day too, 10/13, and he just so happens to be the 220th Pope. The 220th Pope approved the Jesuits, and Pope Francis is the first admitted Jesuit Pope, and his birthday is 2 months and 20 days after the Jesuit anniversary. So, it's interesting how it syncs up to the Friday the 13th. Looking back at some of this stuff too, they announced the Donald Cerrone versus Conor McGregor fight. They announced that on the same day they had this story about Donald Trump being Rocky in the news. Now I talked about Rocky Marciano, Rocky Balboa. Of course, in regards to the movie Rocky, Apollo Creed also died on the same day that, in the movie, he dies on 8/31, which is the 243rd day of the year. Remember, Kobe being Bryant equals 243. Sylvester Stallone equals 243. That's also the day that Princess Diana died in France, right? 243rd day of the year. Apollo Creed got killed by the Russian. So there's something very important to how this relates. And I don't know, I wonder if it's synced up to Carl Weathers, the actor who plays Apollo Creed. Also in relation to 224 and how the Jesuits are important, the Society of Jesus just so happens to equal 224. That's something I mentioned on a whole bunch of these posts from way back when. So, of course, Kobe Bryant, he went to Catholic Church too. Right before he died, he supposedly went to the Catholic Church. Then he was buried in Corona del Mar, and then we got coronavirus, and Corona means crown, and Kobe had the crown tattoo on his arm, and a whole lot more. So, I'll leave it there. I think I made my point. I'm going to keep following this, though, but, Floyd Mayweather definitely synced up to Kobe Bryant, synced up to the Jesuits, and there's something important to the year 2022, I think, and how this syncs up. Maybe with Russia, maybe there's going to be something with Russia, and so on. But over the things I've been keep following, the Tiger Year 2022 is seemingly very important. And I just need to do a little more research and think about how it relates to this boxing and how it might relate to Turkey or Russia or whatever, Also, in regards to the Turkey coup, I can't think of the guy's name right now, but Enes Kanter is also, he got kicked out of Turkey and all that, and he supports the Fethullah Gulen guy, who is the guy who they claim to try to overthrow Erdogan. So, I need to look more into him again. Enes Kanter. We'll just look at it really quick while I'm here killing time here, but I don't even know who he plays for anymore. He did play for the New York Knicks. Does he play for the Blazers again? Huh, interesting. He plays for the Blazers. Hold on. When did he go back to the Blazers? Portland Trailblazers equal, 126, so they also equal 243, like Kobe Bryant. Joe Biden's birthday. Joe Biden equals 243. Huh. Well, whatever. I won't bore you when I'm looking at this stuff, but I bet you anything there's something important to Enes Kanter and how the Trailblazers sync up here. Let's see what his name equals really quick, and then I'll end the video. Remember the 112 that is in these Francis Bacon ones. This is interesting. I'm not going to go in depth with it, but if you watch some of my previous videos, I talk a lot about this number too, so, and how it relates to some of this other stuff, so. Also 314, and if you write out 3.14 as words, it equals 224, and I've talked about how this number is just synced up to pi, so. Well, whatever, you get the point. Just another narrative I'm following and so on. But have a good one. Peace.